bring in the first slide?
So let us start now, I think. I will check whether any national office where is joined. Yeah. We will start. So, respected Dr. Nandish V. Hermath, Dr. Sheelan Mishra, Dr. Manohar C. in his absentia, dear ISTD members, a very good evening to you all. Today we have another webinar, the 4th edition in the ISTD South webinar series. I extend a warm welcome to everyone who are present here. This series of this ISTD South webinar series is envisioned as a vibrant platform for ISTD members and well-wishers to connect with outstanding experts from diverse domains. Our goal is to explore emerging cutting-edge topics that shape the future of learning, leadership, and development. And today we have an outstanding personality to talk about one of the emerging topics, that is design thinking in action, solving real-world problems across industry sectors. Design thinking, we all know, it is a transformative approach that is reshaping industries across the globe. At its core, design thinking is not just about aesthetics or creativity. It's a powerful human-centered problem-solving methodology. It encourages us to start not with assumptions, but with empathy, to ask what does the user truly need, clearly understanding the perspective or need of the other person. In industry, this approach is fueling innovation. Companies like Apple, IBM, and Procter & Gamble have embedded design thinking into their DNA because it bridges the gap between what is technically feasible and what is truly desirable. What makes this approach so powerful is its iterative nature. Prototypes are built fast, feedback is sought early, failure is embraced not as defeat, but as a step toward deeper insight. The result, solutions that are not only innovative, but also practical, scalable, and most importantly, human-centered. As we navigate an increasingly complex world, design thinking offers a mindset, a method, and a movement that can guide industry forward, not just to solve problems, but to redefine what is possible. And today, we have with us an expert in the domain to explain these concepts and its applications across industry. It is none other than Dr. Nandish V. Hermath, Professor and Director, Kirloskar Institute of Management, and also Vice Chairman, Association of Indian Management Schools. And to moderate this session, we have Dr. Sheelan Mishra, Founder and CEO, Unithink Education International. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Manohar C., Chairman ISTD Bangalore Chapter, for connecting with Dr. Nandish and Dr. Sheelan Mishra to make this webinar a reality today. Dr. Manohar agreed to join us and to deliver the welcome address, but I think he is traveling. Maybe he may not be able to join us at this point of time, but he may be joining us soon. So I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Nandish for joining us this evening and enlightening our members and well-wishers with an emerging topic that is design thinking. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I also take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Sheelan Mishra, who is moderating this session. She is a founder and CEO of Unithink Education International, also part of AIMS, Association of Indian Management Schools. I also take this opportunity to welcome all National Council members, ISTD chapter chairpersons, ISTD members, student members from ISTD student chapters, and well-wishers. I extend a warm welcome to everyone. Now, I like to invite Dr. Sheelan Mishra to formally introduce the speaker and moderating the session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zakaria sir, for the warm welcome. And a very good evening to everyone present here for the webinar. I hope I'm audible well to everyone.
Yes, yes. Perfectly fine.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. And many, many thanks to ISTD and Dr. Manohar sir for giving me this opportunity to be part of the webinar. Very, very excited to again welcome you all to this session on design thinking. Design thinking, as all of you are aware, is a very, very powerful and a
എടാ
human
തള്ള ഓടി വരുന്നുണ്ടോ
to solving problems creatively.
എടാ മീറ്റിംഗില് മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ആക്കിയിട്ട് ലെൻസിൽ
Somebody's mic is open. If I may request to kindly put yourself on mute. Yes. So as I see that there are people from different domains who have joined this. So whether you are here as a corporate innovator or as an entrepreneur or as a team leader or someone who is looking to design a better life, I'm sure this session is for you. So you don't need to be a designer to think like the one. So design thinking is for everyone, and it definitely teaches us on how to ask better questions, how to also prototype quickly and learn by doing. I think these are many aspects that would also be covered by none other than our very, very famous academician, Dr. Nandesh Hiramat sir. And I see him as a very profound follower of design thinking in all his planning with the solution centric approach. So, in today's sessions, we aim to cover the core principles of design thinking and how is that we can apply it to real world or person challenges with a lot of examples from the industry as well. And I'm sure that we will be left with many tools which we can use in the work and life. So here is a thought to begin with before I introduce Dr. Nandish. What if you could prototype your way into the future instead of planning it perfectly? And that's what designers do. And by the end of the session, I'm sure all of us will begin to think and act like one. So here I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Nandish Vihiramat, who is a multi-skilled and techno management professional with over 33 plus years of experience in postgraduate teaching, corporate training, consultancy, research and higher education, administration, and management. He is currently working as the professor and director at Kirloskar Institute of Management, Harihar, since 2020, Feb 2024. Earlier, he served as professor and registrar at Vijayabhumi University, Karjat, Greater Mumbai, as Dean Academics at NSB Academy, Bangalore, for managing entire academics operations for MBA and MIP program, and as a professor and mentor at Indus Business Academy for their startup cell, Dean at IBMR International Business School, Director, Industry Academic Collaborations, and at Sima University, Senior Faculty and Director at NIRB Bangalore. So Dr. Nandish has been a techno management consultant to various international NGO funding agencies from USA, European Union, UK, Scotland, Germany, and many, many other European countries, and also to several university and education institutions, banks, cooperatives, NGOs in India. So we can understand from his profile, how that he would have implemented design thinking in providing consulting and solutions to all these organizations. And he has received many, many grants from the international and Indian organizations. And he has widely traveled across USA, Malaysia, UK, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Tanzania on various professional assignments. He's been proactively associated with the professional bodies like NHRD, NIPM, QCFI, ISTD, BMA, and he is served as executive committee member of NHRD Bangalore chapter, secretary of Association of Indian Management Schools, Karnataka Kerala chapter, vice chairman of Industry Institute Interface Committee of NIPM, Karnataka chapter, and member of BCIC I3 committee. So these were greatest opportunities of networking, learning, growing to the next level. So with a stint in group study exchange to USA in 2003, he's passionately engaged with Rotary International since 2003, active, very, very active in Rotary movements. And he's currently doing, during his 24-25, Dr. Nandish is serving as Vice Chairman of Association of Indian Management Schools, Karnataka Kerala chapter. So with this introduction, Dr. Nandish, a very warm welcome to you. And I hand over the session to you now and looking forward to hearing from you on the design thinking as a tool. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to place on my record my sincere gratitude to entire ISTD leadership team for giving this opportunity to share whatever little I know. I don't say that I'm an expert. Let me be very clear. And I can just relate to this topic about what this web series that has been started. Jakaria sir, this itself is a classic example of a design thinking in application by ISTD. Because you understood the needs of the members at the comfort of their home. They can attend the webinar and learn from the best of the experts and grow up in their professional or maybe in their personal pursuits. This itself is a classic example. As we move along, I'll try to quote as many examples as I can. So that is the first thing I'd like to set the tone. And thank you, Dr. Sheelan, for that elaborate introduction. Only good friends will talk a lot of good about us, the friends as a professional associates. So we know we have worked, and it has been a wonderful working together as an academic partners in many initiatives. So now coming into the agenda as such, how I have planned my structure is about 25 minutes. Maybe I'll run through the concept. Then I'll spend more time on 15 different use case scenarios in 15 different sectors. Then we'll take a discussion. So I request all the delegates who have joined and who are a part of this webinar series. If you have any questions, you are most welcome to stop me anytime. Not necessarily you need to wait further. Just you can raise the hand or you can unmute and speak. So let us have that simple principle to move ahead. So initially, I'll cover about definition and meaning and how exactly is the concept. Then I'll talk about the 5-step framework. Of course, some of you might be definitely aware about what design thinking framework is. Then I'll take you into what are the benefits, how it benefits the different stakeholders across organization or maybe in our individual life. Then I'll straight away jump into 15 use case scenarios. So that is how I have structured, and then we'll get into a discussion. So first and foremost, because ISTD is an organization which is basically focused on training and development, and of course now it has been known as a learning and development as a domain. So in that, our objective is very clear. We want to gain a deeper insights into the design thinking strategies, how exactly it is applied in the industry context. That is the first. And second one is how it can be used as the most useful and a practical approach to solve our real life problems. So these are the two learning objectives which we are going to revolve around as we move through the session. So just to set the context, let me go back about 5 years back to 2000 when COVID hit. Earlier we used to talk about PC and AC, before Christ and after Christ. But now we are talking before Corona and after Corona. For simple reason why I'm talking is we are living in a new normal by 2020. But today, 2021 onwards, we are living in a next normal. That means the things are changing fast. We need to also adapt very fast and we need to embrace the new changes and we'll have to keep moving. If at all anybody was talking about Zoom as a learning platform before COVID, we used to raise the eyebrows. What is that Zoom? What is Microsoft Teams? What is the Google Meet and all that? But it has become not just the new normal, it has become a next normal for us. Today, you can see all organizations are managing much of their business operations or maybe organization operations. And it has evolved as a huge thing that has happened because of the experimentation or iteration, which is one of the essential principle of the design thinking. Now, in a simple term, just to set the tone, design thinking is one of the best options to solve the problems, which looks more complex, but we can make them more simple and find out the solution. That is what I can set as a tone to begin with. Now, I'd like to take findings of one of the IBM CEO perspectives. It is called Global C-Suite Study Findings. Dancing with disruption. We know that our life has been living with a disruption today. You take any sector, even you take the higher education. Technology has become a order of the day. You go to startups. Earlier, young people with 21, 22 did not know what to do, but today they are driving the organizations, they are creating the unicorns. Maybe by the age of 26, 27, they are able to create a unicorns. Then similarly, the biggest of the thing is the innovation in motion. That means agility is the part of the enterprise. So we need to have a lot of innovative approaches. And even if you look into some of the organizations, say for example, I can take an example of a Google. When anybody joins Google as an employee, maybe as a designer or as a software developer or as a tester, in different roles, they will be given an option whether they would like to spend some time on the entrepreneurship, whether they would like to work as a businessman being in the system. So 70% time they will be working on their core job for which they are recruited. 30% of the time they will be mentored, they can become an innovator, and even they are given the funding also to get it done. If at all somebody becomes successful, they can even become the co-owners of either the intellectual property, maybe a patent or a industrial design or whatever it is, copyright, multiple different things. So these changes have become kind of a day-to-day integral part of the industries. I'm just taking an example of a Google over there. So basically, disruption, we need to have a trust, we have to think about a futuristic approach, and we'll have to be highly innovative every step of the way, whatever sector we are in. Now, what exactly is the definition or the meaning of design thinking? So it is basically a very simple definition or the meaning. We need to create the things that the people want or need, whatever be the sector, whatever be the requirement. And it is a non-linear, iterative, and a scientific process. What we are trying to do here is in a simple terms, we try to understand what are the user's requirements. We challenge the assumptions if at all they are there. Then we try to redefine the problem and create innovative solutions. And we prototype, test it, and we try to scale it up. And when we come to the examples, I'll try to illustrate this concept a little more in an elaborate manner. Especially this design thinking will become very, very useful and practically applicable when we have the problems, we don't know what exactly it is. That means it is ill-defined or it is unknown and we don't know what is the solution. In fact, design thinking will become a best tool over there, wherein which we can work on some solution, we'll see whether it works or not, and then we can modify and see that until we get the solution. Probably in 2 months' time, we would have done 10 different iterations. I'll just take some examples as I move further just to justify this point. So it is basically an adaptive process of iteration or experimentation, wherein which we'll find the solutions which will work much better and easier. Now, who are the people who have, of course, the credit for this design thinking as a framework or a concept has been attributed to David Kelly and Professor Tim Brown from Stanford University. But I'd like to make one thing here. Of course, 1969, Herbert also came out with a concept back. So you can take around, say, 65, 70 years history for design thinking. But if you look, the Indian history of 5,000 plus years, design thinking has been a best part of the day-to-day existence in whatever the walks of life. If you look, can I request someone? Yeah, thank you very much for that. So basically, if you look into the entire history, human history of around 5,000 years, more so in India, we know that whenever anybody comes in or whenever doing in a business or maybe one of the king or a queen managing the things, they used to understand the needs of the people, then they used to come out with a solution. You take, for example, Krishnaraj Wadiyar, who was instrumental in building this KRS dam. In fact, they understood the need. Even Queen came forward. She volunteered to pledge her jewels, raise the funds, and did it because there was a need for water requirement both in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, on the Kaveri waters. That is a classic example I can take. What I'm referring is 1905, much before David Kelly and Tim Brown spoke about design thinking. It has been implemented for ages in India. So technically, it is not a new concept. It is a kind of an old wine in a new bottle. That is how I'd like to put it across. But Americans, that too from universities like Stanford or maybe Oxford or Harvard, they are very smart in marketing a particular concept. That is how it has been done. So now coming to the 5-step process, there are 5 stages. First one is empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So it is a simple 5-step framework. Empathize means we understand what exactly our customers are, maybe the users of that particular product or service require. Then we'll try to define it very clearly. We ideate, that means we'll give a formal shape to that particular solution which we are trying to craft it. And most importantly, we'll go ahead and come out with a prototype, we test it. And if it is not working, maybe we'll come back and redefine it once again. If you look into this slide, you can see very clearly in the first stage, we are trying to understand what we are trying to do in empathize stage. Second one, what is the core problem which the people are facing? Or maybe the customers or the users or beneficiaries are facing. In third, we'll go out of the box and we'll try to think about a solution. And in fourth one, we'll try to do experiments. We need not have to work for 7 years to come out with a drug like that in a pharmaceutical industry. We have seen even in COVID phase, Government of India and Drug Controller of India went ahead and they came with pre-clinical trials and approvals in a matter of around 2 months. And India became the largest producer of the COVID vaccine, which we know. This was all possible because of that experimental nature of the whole process. Otherwise, for any drug approval to happen, Drug Controller of India or Pharmaceutical Association takes anywhere between 5 to 7 years. But it was done in a matter of flat 2 months. That is the power of experimentation as a part of this design thinking process. And ultimately, they test the product. They will ask the users. Sangamesh? Okay. So basically
Hello.
Can I request all the audience just to be on the mute? If at all, by mistake, if you are doing, kindly try to refrain from that so that the serious learner will not get affected. So coming to the last point, we need to test and we'll take the feedback and then we'll immediately improvise the whole process. Now, directly we'll come into what are the benefits. Of course, as it is mentioned even by Jakaria sir, Dr. Sheelan madam, and overall the entire principle, it is a non-linear. There is, though it is a 5-step, it not necessarily have to go from first to second, third, fourth, fifth. Not like that. You can jump from first step to fourth step directly and come out with a solution. And it is human-centric. And most importantly, it is experimentative and also collaborative. Means one person cannot do it. When we go to the examples, you will be in a position to understand this much more. So we can go in a multiple different ways to find out the solutions. And most importantly, when we come to the later stages, say for example, prototype or maybe the testing stage, we collect the feedback that will become the input for maybe the second stage, say for example, define. So that is how they will be working in a supplementary and a complementary manner, and it will become an amazing concept, very easy to apply, and we can leverage the benefits in no time. Many a times, it can make a miracles in a matter of 1 week or 2 weeks. That is how the power of a design thinking is there. So this is how we can, just a non-linear approach. You can see from empathize, I can go to define. Maybe from empathize directly, I can go to the test, or maybe I have come to prototype. I see something is missing. I can come back to ideate stage and then I can proceed to test stage. So that is how I can jump from any stage to any stage. That is what it means, non-linear approach. Now, first 2 stages, the discover and define. You can see very clearly, we'll try to focus on discovering the problem, understanding the problem, then we'll come and design the solution. So what we are actually focusing upon is 4 important things in the design thinking. First one is it desirable to the users or the customers or the human beings who are using? And is it technically feasible? And most importantly, financially viable. And last but most important is because we live in the era of sustainability today. So these are the 4 elements which it touches. Desirable nature, feasible nature, viable and sustainable nature is going to be the hallmark of the entire benefits or value proposition, what we really give it across. So it will be in a position to benefit everybody, whether it is an individual or employees, department, organization, maybe a product or a service or the customers. You can see team will get the benefit, products will get the benefit, organization, and most importantly, the cross-cultural teams across the organization will also get benefit. So this is basically giving the benefit to everybody possible. And we'll be in a position to see when we go to the examples over there. Now, from this point onwards, I'll jump into those 15 different industries and different use case scenarios, how the design thinking has been done in action and how the benefits have been coming. Let me start with our own Indian, that too more Karnataka grown example. And MTR Foods has been the game changing producing company in terms of the ready to eat foods. It was back in 1977 when emergency was there, and the people were not allowed to do the business like normal because of the emergency. Sadanand Maya, who was the owner, and he had even difficulty to pay the salaries for his employees. Then he sat with his team. He was discussing, I don't have money. What should I do? But I don't want to leave you because you have been standing as a support from 1924 till 1927. For more than 50 years, you have been with me, my growth story. I want to protect your interest. And finally they discuss. One of the assistant cook gives the idea, sir, we are good in making a sambar. Can we make it as a paste and sell it? And they started selling it to their neighbors, friends, and relatives in a plastic, no branding. Please remember that. Whatever the branding which you see on the visual here, it came much later. Then what happened? That sambar became extended to rasam. Then after that, they went into rawa idli mix. Like that, a varieties of products. But finally, Sadanand Maya wanted to make this big. That is where his whole design thinking principle. Of course, he was not familiar with the design thinking framework, but he had applied it already. He was participating in one of the international food festival. He could come out with this retard technology of Germany in one of the food festival. He went to CFTRI, Central Food and Technology Research Institute. He understood how to produce the food without contamination and which can stay for 3 months. Then he went into Defense Research Laboratory. Packing technology he took from them, of course, under a license. Then, of course, whatever the aluminum foil packing which we see, we can dip maybe in the hot water, then cut open it and your food is ready. This all three things he was able to apply. Basically, his intention was husband and wife are working. They don't have time to cook, but they want the best quality food. How do I solve that problem? That was his whole intention. Down the lane, it became a super hit. Many other companies in the same processed foods came in. Of course, Sadanand Maya sold the MTR brand for 465 crores. And later on, his son did IIM Bangalore program. 3 years later, he started Maya Foods. What I mean to say, please understand. Technically, we say the design thinking is about a recent concept, but actually it has been applied long time back. That's what the point which I would like to drive. Now coming to another product, another company, ID as a brand, Idli Vada, Idli Dosa, Fresh Foods as in a company. Mustafa, he comes from a Kerala village. He was studying in IIM Bangalore. He decided to opt out of the placements and he wanted to start. Basically, he started with a simple batter, that is a Idli Dosa batter, packed, just go cut open the packet, put it on the cooker and your idli and dosa is ready. It looks very simple to us now, but it was not simple. He took a lot of pains to come out with that concept. Even believe it or not, he was spending a lot of time in terms of selling that batter, going door. So later on, he came out with a classic product, how to make the vada. There is a beautiful video in YouTube. It is about 10 minutes. I request you to kindly go through and watch that. It is a beautiful ID vada making. If you just type it, you will end up with that video. It is an amazing concept, how exactly he has applied the design thinking. And in fact, he went ahead with another concept. Probably many of us are not aware. This tender coconut, he took it freshly packed and directly it is available in the departmental stores. And similarly, a filter coffee. It's just available for 10 rupees. Cut open, put it in the hot water and a milk and a sugar to your taste. Your filter coffee is ready, especially for South Indians. See, these are the classic examples which are our own homegrown Indian products where design thinking has been applied amazingly. Because if you look into a filter coffee, it is a very special skill and art. Very few people can have that art of making a very, very unique filter coffee. It is not that everybody can do it. So that is what he could put it in a sachet. You just put it across, and you are able to get it done. This is another classic example I can quote regarding the basically how exactly design thinking has been applied in the food processing industry. Now let me come to the medical or healthcare industry, GE healthcare. One of the problem which basically the healthcare manufacturers were facing, including GE healthcare, MRI machine is there. Say, for example, a baby has fallen in the ground when it is playing and head is hit, and doctor wants to know what has happened inside the brain and all that. And they try to put the child into this MRI machine. It creates such a irritating sound. Child will not be able to stay in a stationed position. That means in a very, very stable position. So finally, the scientists thought who were designing this, and they were given the design thinking training. They came out with a system wherein which they designed the whole MRI laboratory more like an adventure camp. So a counselor was used, wherein which moment the baby with that kind of a hit in a playing ground comes in, the child was put to comfort, and she will tell, I am going to take you into adventure journey. Are you okay? Only thing is you will have to keep your head in a stable condition. It will make some sound, don't worry, but you enjoy that adventure journey. Like that, counseling is being done, your MRI film is taken, doctor's job is done, surgical person or maybe cardiology, whatever is the kind of the MRI which we are doing. Basically, child will be in a position to cooperate with the medical professionals or maybe the diagnostic center in no time. See, it looks as a very simplistic solution, but please understand, it is not the simplicity alone. Converting the complexity into simplicity in the form of a solution is what is the beauty here. So basically, that whole MRI irritating machine was converted into adventure camp, like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck kind of a story was being sold as a concept to that child of 5 years, 8 years, like that. Then you get the crystal clear images of MRI, then doctor's life is very easy. It is a cakewalk. That is a classic example how we can see in the medical industry it has been applied. Now just let us look into Airbnb, for example. So Airbnb, a lot of football leagues happen, accommodation will not be available. And even the homes were converted initially by Airbnb into accommodation systems. And it is in a clear-cut concept wherein which a problem of the people who come for a big league football teams, say for example NBA, they will come in, but they don't have a place. How do you convert that available housing place, maybe one extra bedroom, into a hotel, kind of an overnight stay? This is also a classic example how we really empathize, define it, and find out a solution and make it. And it is one of the largest aggregator on basically the shared services. Similarly, wire rooms. Ritesh Agarwal is not even a graduate. At the age of 26, he was able to get the funding initially, and then he was able to build upon these wire rooms. He onboarded all the hotels, and we know at the age of 26, he became a billionaire. He was able to create a unicorn when he is not even a graduate. Please understand, formal qualifications does not matter on application of the design thinking. I would like to emphasize this when I'm talking about wire rooms. He has even been able to hire IIT graduates, IIM graduates, high technology experts in managing the whole OYO platform. About 3,500 top level talent he has been able to recruit and manage. But he is not a graduate. In fact, in one of the intro, he was being asked, you're not a graduate, but you are hiring IIMs and IIT graduates. It all requires a need. What is the need? And I'm giving them the best salary and the best opportunity to work. Basically that is what he even applied the design thinking when he recruited the people. Okay, now let me take a pause and just give the small twist to my whole approach. Anybody is aware about what Procter & Gamble and has been able to adopt? Anybody from among the audience? I know you know about this concept. I just wanted to set a tone. We have more than 50 people here, and I know many of you are professionals who have been adopting. How Procter & Gamble has been adopting design thinking? Anyone? Because let us also optimize. I'd like to close it in about another 5 to 7 minutes, all the examples. Then we'll get into discussion. Okay, maybe in the interest of time, I'll take 2 more examples, then you can join in. See, Procter & Gamble has a system. They know, that it is a FMCG market leader globally. they pick up a certain section of people who always have the bent of an innovative mindset. So those people are being given a specialized training, maybe 1 week, 15 days, or 1 month. Then they are being put into innovation champions. Believe it or not, my dear friends, here 15% revenue per growth per year, and 10 to 20 billionaire brands and $70 million revenue after 6 years has been done by this design thinking training in Procter and Gamble alone. That is how the organization can make huge billions of dollars. It is such a simple framework, but you just need to train the people and make it in a proper structured manner. That's all. It is a simple tool. It is just a change of mindset, and we are going to adopt it in a very simplistic manner. Even if you look into Jean Lidka, she is one of the leading authority from University of West Virginia, Darden School of Business. She has conducted trainings to NASA scientists. You can see the picture down below. There is a video of 1 hour 20 minutes on the YouTube. You can go ahead and see that how the NASA scientists have been able to find this useful in finding solutions to the space technology. So you can apply in any field for that matter. Now, taking the example far away to aviation industry or the visa processing and Singapore, Singapore is the very, very pioneering country in terms of innovations. They had a visa processing office, and parents used to come with small kids. Maybe you can see the little boy and a girl sitting over there in the picture. So they used to always trouble the parents because, they want to grab the attention. And that was creating a problem in the operational functioning of the visa office. It is a global hub. That. So then they applied a lot of thought. They conducted the training. Finally, they came out with redesigning of the visa office. They basically made it very elegant. On one side, they kept a table and also certain ties for the children to keep playing for it. Now, what happened? Children are busy with what they want, that is playing with the toys. But parents are sitting with a visa officer completing everything in 10 or 15 minutes. Believe it or not, the turnaround time of the visa processing officer came down almost by 60%. If he was taking, say, for example, 20 minutes, he was able to finish it in about 7-8 minutes. It was able to save the time. And child is happily playing with the toys over there. Now the job is done. Parent will move along with the kids, and visa officer is also happy to take the next passenger. Please understand the dynamics of a design thinking, how it has been conceived and applied here in a simplistic manner. How much that ties and one table and a chair cost in a visa office? Probably nothing more than about 10 or 15 or 20,000, depending on what kind of latest furniture we put in. But please understand the value proposition which is bringing into that Ministry of the Manpower, what we call it as a Ministry of External Affairs in Indian context. It became a huge game changer. Similarly, Changi Airport has adopted a contactless airport system. That is again a byproduct of this design thinking, which is applied in a very, very extensive manner, much ahead of either US or UK or any country for that matter. Singapore was the first one to adopt that contactless, the processing of the entire immigration. Similarly, US Army, they have trained their senior level officers, and they have been able to come out with a solution. Some of the big things they are able to solve in no time. And of course, IBM, there is one project called Project Oxygen, which has been able to adopt. They were one of the earlier organizations to adopt this. They have one internal entity called Think Academy. And if you go ahead little inside, globally they have 370,000 employees. They train all the people, even the way in which the leadership talent is being developed. First 3 layers out of the 7 layers, they focus on design thinking, and they have been able to contribute. You can see they moved out of the hardware business. They got into only now software and consulting. That was basically a byproduct of this design thinking of the leaders. I am not getting into the details because of the paucity of time. Let me give another example of the BPO industry, Genpact. 90,000 people in 25 countries across 300 skills were being trained in 2019, much before COVID, my dear friends. Please remember this very clearly. Much before COVID, more than 90,000 people were being trained by Genpact. They had a project, and you can see that the text in the red color. CHRO Piyush Mehta says, Half-life of the skills is barely 2 to 3 years. Today it has come to 18 months. We have to become agile, how to look at the talent and the skills. They focused on building the sustaining learning culture. Today it has become the order of the day. They became the pioneers in adopting the design thinking principle. Apple, I don't have to really highlight. Every year they keep coming out with the most innovative product. And there is one Core 100, which even Steve Jobs used to play it around with them and they used to challenge them. Fundamental principle was what value I have to give to my customers. What value proposition, which is of the highest order, I should give. Then coming to Intuit, it is a financial software company. They adopt, it is more like maneuvering around a kind of a dashboard wherein which I'll do my job much more easily. This is even being done by the Ministry of the Finance when we filed the IT returns recently. You can see that. Then Deutsche Bank, they had a lot of problems, especially when the attrition was very high. It was 16 to 17%. They came out with one simple solution by adopting a design thinking for their 78,000 employees in 70 countries. Very simple. They said, okay, for example, Sheelan madam is very, very external. Means she's an extrovert. She loves to talk to the people. But she's given the job on the behind the desk. She's not happy. So, but Sheelan madam can come, work in the front desk. If she is producing the good results for 3 months, she'll be continued there. And a lot of promotional opportunities. They modified the HR policies to adopt this attrition. Believe it or not, my dear friends, you can imagine from 17% attrition, they came down to 8 to 9% in 1 year of sensitization of the people and modifying the HR policy. So they modified the HR policy across 70 countries. One policy, it could save their cost in millions of dollars. That is how the whole huge benefits it can bring it to organization. Now let me come to our own government of India. Many a times we talk loosely, what does the government does? Please remember, the PAN card issue used to take 3 months earlier, but now it can be done in less than 3 days, 72 hours or less. If you upload all the documents in the income tax department portal, in less than 48 hours, you will have the e-PAN card in your email box, or you can just go to the portal and access it and download it. It is such a seamless system. Similarly, go to startupindia.gov.in. In less than 3 days, you can register a startup today. Earlier, it used to take 3 to 4 months, even MSME registration. And during the COVID period, nearly about 20 lakh crores of money was distributed to all the MSMEs, and it is a phenomenal thing which no country was able to even think about it. But we have done it. Let us be very proud about our country. They have adopted technology. And now let me come to education sector. AICT, they have 4,500 MBA colleges, more than about 55,000 higher educational institutions, 1,200 UGC universities. If you look at it, they conducted the online FDPs during COVID. In fact, they got the Guinness World Record for training 1.5 lakh faculty in about 4 months. It's a record by itself. Please remember, AICT did not go and make an application for Guinness World Record. Guinness World Record wanted to have this record in them. They came. That's the beauty of this design thinking. And if you look into RV Engineering College, one of the oldest engineering college, or maybe Wellinger School, Wellinger School has got a 2-year program on business innovation and design thinking, exclusive PG diploma. So basically what I wish to state by taking all these examples so far, we need to be iterative. We'll have to build the resources. We have to become entrepreneurial. And most importantly, we have to get out of the comfort zone. The real growth does not come in a comfort zone. The real growth comes from getting out of the comfort zone. That's the whole essence of the design thinking. And just to talk about agile leadership, we have 10 different styles of leadership. And now agile leadership has become very, very phenomenal and common and universally applied because we need to adapt very fast. And most importantly, when we try to apply the design thinking solution, we need to, if we are able to hybridize with Simon Sinek's golden circle principle, first we'll ask why we are doing this. Then you find out how we are doing it. Then you talk about what we are doing it. So moving from why to how and how to what makes the life seamlessly easy. Take this webinar series itself. Maybe ISTD leadership team, including Jakaria sir as the regional vice president, they thought, every time the members have to come and attend the series. But it has got a limitation of time, resources. People will find a lot of travel challenges. They have their commitments. But in 1 hour, can we give the value? Brilliant idea. They asked the question, why? Then they came, how to do it? Do it online. Bring the experts. There is a platform. Invite an expert. You communicate to all the members. They will come and join. Believe it or not, it can become a kind of a game changer system. That is what has been done. And let me take one voluntary organization, Rotary. And it has been there since 1905, but it never knew the concept of online meetings. They always had the physical meetings, that too in the Chicago World Headquarters, they will make the decisions. But during COVID, first they took a decision for $3,000. Then they took within a month, they knew the power of taking online decisions. They were able to decide $1 million funding, especially for Corona in African continent in about 5 days. Please remember, from 1905 till 2020, 115 years of history of Rotary International. They never knew the concept of online, but they took a decision on $1 million in a 5 days. What I'm trying to kind of quote an example, and a voluntary organization of such a large scale was able to adopt the design thinking. They thought, now we'll have to raise to the occasion. We'll have to still do the missionary approach, what we have been doing for last 115 years. So just to summarize the whole Agile concept, if we are not adopting Agile leadership or Agile management practices, will become irrelevant or redundant. So only we'll have to become resilient and change the things. There is a lot of literature on Agile leadership, and only we'll have to learn and imbibe and move ahead. I'll give you another example. Always we have been speaking about customers first. But it was basically the Vineet Nair in HCL Technologies brought in a concept. Employees first. If employees are not there, what do I serve the customers? It was a simple shift, it looks, but it became a game changer concept once he wrote this book, employees first, customer second. It looks very simple when we look at the book title today, but how much of a thought process he would have put in. Internal customers first in the organization, then customers outside of the organization. Now let me ask a simple question. I'm coming to the summary part of it. I would like everyone to participate or put it in the chat. I'll be closely watching the chat, whether design thinking is a tool or a method or a process. I'd like you to give an answer. Either you can unmute and answer, or you can put it in a chat. Either way, it's fine. Kindly go ahead, please.
It's a
Okay,
process.
Vishnu sir is putting combination. Okay.
I think this is Justin here. I think it's a combination of it's a tool, it's a method, and it's a process. Situationally, it can be applied.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Okay, anybody else? DLN Reddy sir is putting it as a method.
Yes,
Zakaria sir
it's
is
a
telling
process.
method. It is a process.
If you can hear me, Dr. Yudhi Ahuja,
Yes,
it's
sir.
a process.
It is a process. Okay.
And I'll come back to you with a question later on.
Yes. Definitely, sir. Definitely. So Dr. Rija is also telling it is a process. And there is one more audience. It is iPhone. That is also process. Let me help you to understand. So many of you are telling it is a tool, method, or a process. Respected professionals here, please understand it is more of a mindset. Yes, it is a method, it is a tool, it is a process, it is a combination of all the tool, method, and process. More importantly, how do you change it? See, for example, ISTD as a body has been there in the country for long. But did we conceive this webinar series? That is where I am just bringing it point to this webinar series concept itself. Dr. Ahuja sir, I hope I am able to bring in the connect. It is definitely a process, undoubtedly. But
And
kindly go ahead, sir.
if you give me an opportunity to say more, I would be happy.
Kindly go ahead, sir. You are such an elderly person. Do share your experience, please.
First of all, let me congratulate you on the way you have gone on design thinking. It's
Thank you, sir.
absolutely novel. Number two, I wish I could agree with you as a professor of management in California State University, and I have been with ISTD for the last, I don't know how many years. I think I agree with you, it's a non-linear. Why
Yes, sir.
can't we make it linear? See, that's the challenge. The challenge today in the changing environment is how to make non-linear to linear. I'm not talking like a mathematics student or a statistician. How to make it linear so that people can get it and do on it. And other thing which I really liked, which you said, it's nothing but absolutely the mindset.
Yes, sir.
And let me see if I can, do that. One second. Give me, no, this, you can see me.
Yes, sir. Yes,
It's
sir.
a absolutely mindset.
Yes.
If we can control our mindset, I think we can design thinking, we can redesign thinking, and it has to be compatible with the changing environment. Then perhaps
Yeah.
I may go with you to consider it as a non-linear. You
Yes,
see,
sir.
as a student of mathematics, nobody likes non-linear. Very much like linear, comfort level. But in the today's world,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Nande, I'll agree with you, you cannot make a progress. You cannot check up with the, cope up with the, changing environment and industry unless you make it non-linear.
Yes, yes.
That's where we are held up. So I won't take your more time, but if they, I've got your background, and my background, as I told you, for the last many years, I've been a part of ISTD. I've been in United Nations, World Bank, so on and so forth. But we can exchange our views,
Yes, sir.
and the only concluding question is, please review linear versus non-linear. Thank you.
Sir, it's a wonderful perspectives and insights from you. Please understand when we say it is a non-linear approach, it does not mean we need not be linear. In fact, there have been many instances where it has been applied in a linear way. I'll give you one simple example. We know,
Sorry to interrupt you. Non-linear means we are not being human consideration.
no, human consideration is an integral. That is the backbone, sir. Human centric and customer centric is the part of this entire design thinking process.
Yeah.
I'll just give an example of this AstraZeneca where the onboarding of the newly recruited people in R&D department happens. They are given
Mm-hmm.
access to the app 15 days before they join, and they will have to
Mm-hmm.
go and invest 30 minutes every day for 15 days. Once they come into the
Mm-hmm.
company, 7 days onboarding will happen. Eighth day
Mm-hmm.
onwards, next 2 months, they are being mentored by the people who are already in the AstraZeneca for at least 3 years. Please understand,
Mm-hmm.
there are three components for the newly recruited employees. 15 days
Mm-hmm.
app-related learning, 7 days of the onboarding training, and 3 months of the mentoring by the managers who are there for 3 years. Believe it or not, sir, 92% of the people have been able to grow up the ladder in a matter of next 3 to 5 years. It's an amazing. In fact, I have published a paper on digital L&D skills. If at all you wish, I can share it with Jakaria, sir. He can share it with all the members who are here. But the point
You
is
can
very
share
simple.
you can share it with me, but there is one thing, Professor, which
Yes,
I
sir.
want to share with you. You see, we as professors have a certain way of thinking which is linear.
Yeah.
Now, the moment we make it non-linear for the industry, they start questioning us. My
No, sir.
question is how to make it practical in day-to-day life. That our young people think on the way we are thinking. They have to change.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, I think I'm not the only one to ask questions. Please go ahead and we
No, no, no,
can
no.
carry on.
Sir, you are bringing your expertise on to us.
Thank you,
Truly appreciated. So
Yudhishthir,
Yes,
for
sir.
another
I
two
want
wonderful
to
things are
just
there.
insight.
add, Nandish sir.
Purnima
I
ma'am,
think
please
Yes.
go ahead.
I just want to add, I like this last sentence. Design thinking is not for designers. It is for everyone who want to solve the problem from customer perspective and keeping our leg in their shoes, understand their problems, be with them, and be empathetic. More than
Yes.
instead of debating linear and linear, it is more of emotional intelligence. That's why in entrepreneurship we give more focus on emotional intelligence. You take any
Yeah,
entrepreneur
yeah,
successful, if he is emotionally intelligent, he will be able to solve problems. And
yeah,
design
yeah,
thinking is a tool or a process and a mindset for solving the problem. Once you solve the problem from their perspective, you are adding value. You are
yeah,
finding a
yeah.
solution.
Thank,
And
Dr.
that is
Mishra, you
what
have
is
gone beyond
interesting
me.
about design thinking.
No, Dr. Mishra, you have gone beyond me. The focus, I'm happy you're talking of mindset. And I want to discover a person, a saint who can set our mindset.
Sir, only we can fix our mindset. Nobody else, no saint can fix it. That is what is my belief.
The
Can
best
I
way of
just take
fixing our
another two
mindset,
slides and
no,
complete? Then
no.
we'll come to the
The,
discussion. If
the
I am
best
maybe
way
permitted.
of fixing our mindset is to sit down together, have a productive social life, and you'll get a solution.
Correct,
Wonderful.
correct, sir.
Thank you, Yudhishthir. Nandisha, do you have more slides to
No,
cover?
no, no, just two slides.
Yeah,
I'm
Please,
sure,
please,
concluding.
sure.
please, yeah, please conclude.
Yeah.
So I'll just conclude it. And sorry, one slide I missed. In fact, normally we say don't quit, but the answer is very much in that. The way in which we look at it makes the difference. Do it. That means we'll have to do it now. That's the simple philosophy which you can see. And should you have to be perfect or excellent? It is only excellence is the way in life. We can never become perfect in our life, profession, personal, whatever it is. So it is a way every step of the way towards the excellence. And this is the last thought which I would like to leave all of you with as a key learning. Start small, think big, act fast. It's not that I will wait for 1 week, I'll come out with a best solution and I will implement it and make the organization big. It's not exactly. Only one last thought for the last sentence: start small, think big, act fast. Let me just leave you with one thought. There was 10,000 crores, 2016 Startup India policy was implemented. We had 4,000 startups. Today we have 90,000 startups. We are actually at globally number 10 position. Bangalore is number 3 globally out of the 30 startup hubs. That is the beauty of this design thinking. And if you go and make an analysis, how exactly from 4,000 startups to 90,000, which we have come in, the underlying principle is start small, think big, act fast, including Dr. Sheelan from a professor in New Horizon College. She has become an entrepreneur today. Yeah, that is how I'd like to leave you with. So now we are open for the discussion. Madam, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Nandisha, for such a wonderful, well organized, well thought presentation. And I really admired the way you covered all the points, especially with a lot of examples from different sectors, different industries. And I'm sure a lot of students who are attending the session today, it would have been very, very useful for them as well. So you definitely covered very beautifully all the 5 steps of design thinking and the 4 dimensions. I was listening to you very carefully, which are desirable, feasible, viable, and sustainable. I think
Correct.
as an entrepreneur, when I look at the solutions, your solutions, have to go through these 4 dimensions. They should have these 4 dimensions very well. And beautifully mentioned, one sentence that you mentioned, converting the complexity into simplicity is the core to design thinking. And I
Yes.
think this is what design thinking teaches us, right? And you also touched upon the concept of agile leadership, very, very important. I'm a firm believer that we need to work with a lot of speed, but then speed does should not disorient you from the quality of work or from the accuracy of work. As
Yeah.
much you can maintain the accuracy, you can speed up the things. And as you nailed it, and as Yudhisa were also mentioning, it is a mindset for the growth.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, how do we set the mind? And I think again it goes back to the DT process that
Maybe next webinar we'll
yes.
request Jakaria sir to how to set the mindset.
Right. So I have few questions, Nandish sir,
Kindly go
but
ahead.
then I
Kindly
can
go ahead.
definitely connect to you later and ask. But let me ask the audience if they have any questions. Maybe we can take up some 2, 3 questions now,
Sure.
or you can also put in the chat if anybody wants to ask their questions. We have 10 minutes to take the Q&A session now. So anyone, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
And
Good
thank you,
evening.
Dr. Ahuja sir and Dr. Purnima madam for adding insights earlier.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Vishnu,
sir.
kindly go ahead.
Yeah,
Kindly
it
Vishnu.
was a nice presentation. And application is little challenging, design thinking, because it is a very longer process. That's what I feel. Because we have
Yeah.
applied in some projects, design thinking concept.
Yeah.
But it
Ma'am,
is
good
very good.
evening. Good evening to you. Thanks for sharing that input.
Sheelan, nice meeting you after a long time virtually.
Same here, ma'am. Same here.
And best of luck for your unique thing. You are
Thank
thinking
you.
different.
Thank you.
And
So
it
we
was a
say
good session. And Nandish
unbelievable
sir, I
technology.
know he is also my good friend, Nandish sir. I'll join
Madam, I
little
think
bit.
we'll go to Dr. Vishnu. He has some
Yes.
questions.
Vishnu sir
Yes,
has
Dr.
a
yes,
Vishnu, kindly go
question.
ahead, please.
So yes,
yes.
Vishnu sir, over to you for the question.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for the insightful talk. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, 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 please.
Sir, my question to you is a question from an educator perspective. You are also a management expert in a leading B school. As educators, how can we explain the concept of design thinking to students in a manner which they can use it when they step onto their careers or to their entrepreneurial journey?
See, in fact, I teach entrepreneurship course. When I introduce the design thinking course, I don't talk about design thinking even a spelling. I tell them today go into an entrepreneur and come back. What is his problem? Identify and come back. Next day or the next session, I'll ask them to list out what was their problem. How did they identify, how they solved the problem or defined the problem and came out with it. Believe it or not, you put this slide which I was telling with 5 framework. You discuss, you are going to nail it straight in 15 minutes. You don't need even 3 hours. See, it is experiential. It is completely an experience. I'll just give an example. One of the student had gone for such a field survey. They went and they were asking the owner to spare the time. It was a busy lunchtime in Kormangala, in one of the working day. And owner said, now, no, these people became smart. Okay, now let us go and intro other people and come back. They went at 4 o'clock when the restaurant got closed at 3:30. That fellow sat and explained for 30 minutes what exactly is the whole thing. Then they were given a special lunch and came back. In fact, students were explaining, sir, we understood what was his problem. He is busy with business, he cannot answer our questions. Simple empathy. Simple as that. I think I have answered your question, Dr. Vishnu.
Yeah,
Dr.
thanks, sir.
Hiramat,
Got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kindly go ahead.
Dr. Hiramat, you have said that design thinking has more to do with mindset. But how does it synchronize with the mindset? Because mindset is practically a fixed affair. And when you're designing certain things, your mind doesn't work. It will only be fixed on a particular design, whereas it doesn't go beyond the what do you call different faculties. Why do you say that it's a mindset?
Sir, thank you for that question. Let me tell you, we'll have to think from a solution perspective. It is not from a problem perspective. See, for example, I have enough problem in front of me, and if I keep thinking about the problem, I'll become more involved into the problem. I'll not look at the solutions. Say, for example, there is a circle where the problem is. You jump out of the circle and look at it from all different possible examples. How can I solve it? And moment you start looking at a solution from that mindset perspective, it's going to be a game changer. I'll give an example of a Bangalore traffic. When basically the metro came in or the electric vehicles came in, there were a lot of questions raised by the public. But today, the same public are appreciating both metro and also electric vehicles because the comfort of travel is so good. If I have to give you two simple examples. So it is a solution-centric mindset that is what is going to make the difference. Hope I'm trying to address Reddy sir.
Doctor, to add to what you said, I would also appreciate, we have goals and we also should have the attitude. See, it's a tool, it's a method, it's a process, all fine. It is there in front of us to utilize. It gives us a sense of direction. If there is no mindset, if there is no attitude, if there are no set goals, we would not be able to achieve it.
Exactly. I'll give you another example. If you look into the last mile connectivity for the metro, we came out with the bounce bike, right? You can get out of the metro station, just use the bounce bike and you go. It is another classic example. What was the problem people were facing when they travel after a long distance of the metros? They don't know how to go ahead, or they are not able to, they are finding a problem with Ola or Uber. Now Rapido came in. They wanted to be fast. These are all the solutions which we have in front of us. Only we'll have to look at it from the solution-centric mindset approach. Nothing else.
Nandhi sir, if I can just add something to
Please.
this. So, see, when we talk about mindset, right? So, mindset is our very own, and we live with the mindset, and everything that we view, we apply it consistently, right? So, why we are referring to now design thinking as a mindset? Because it should become a way of thinking, and that's how we can provide continuous solution, improved solution to our customers, right? So if this does not become our mindset, then the way we approach the problems will be very different, and will not be
Yeah.
able to empathize only with the people. So when the
Yes.
core is empathy, then it has to be the part of mindset.
That is very much true. That is very much true.
I have
No
a
doubt about it.
request. Can you share today's PPT? They are good, if possible.
I will connect with you separately and I'll share it, madam.
Okay,
That's
thank
not
you,
a-
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Do
But
we have
otherwise, you will have an access to the
can
recording from ISTD side.
Okay.
we take we can take one more question? Anybody who would
Yes,
like to?
yes, madam.
Sir, yeah, myself from industry background. So
Yeah,
the
please.
basis of the design thing is the change management. People who are expert in change management, they can do well with design thinking. So how we will, in an industrial point, so how we can adapt design thinking in the blue collar employees?
Sir, if we are talking about the blue-collared employees, I can take the example of Toyota floor-level workers, okay, in the assembly point. Whenever these diploma or ITI or JODC people come and join and work, they will be joining and starting their work at the age of 19 or 20 years. They complete the diploma and then they will come and join, and they get married at the age of 20 to 24. Believe it or not, a very good HR policy is there in Toyota Motors. The people who get married in a matter of around 3 months, 6 months, they are pulled together, they are being picked up from their home, they are brought to a resort. A top HR leaders will talk to them about organization philosophy, and they are even deputed for the world skill test, which is held in Japan every year. A person with just an ITI or job-oriented diploma course has gone and won the world skill test. It is because they are able to orient them on the solutions, the practice that is being done. What we talk as an iteration in this design thinking, it is a part of their entire HR system. And even if we have a 15 assembly points, people are being rotated among all those 15 lines. So even if somebody is on leave, I can manage the stage number 6 after 5. That is how the whole system is working. You can go and study about Toyota Motors philosophy, how the HR policies has been integrated onto the blue collar workers also. There are umpteen number of examples. Even for that matter, you go to Pune Industrial Estate, National Productivity Council has been giving 15 lakhs as a fund to upskill the MSME people. For a 1-year project, one education institution has to anchor it, or one of the body like ISTD can anchor it. There are multiple examples, Ashik ji. You can always connect back later, and whatever little I can help, I'll be too happy to help on that.
I
Hope I
will
have tried to
just
give an example.
add to it, sir, if you don't mind. Japan also provide Association of Overseas Technical Scholarship, where I also had gone to Japan under AOTS scholarship. There they
Yes.
do lot of program on design thinking. They don't teach design thinking. They make us project based or experiential based learning.
Yes.
I have done a course in Japan. They don't use the word design thinking at all, but it is actually experiential learning, and it is a project based learning. People from India can go to Japan, especially people who are practicing under AOTS scholarship. Everything is free from your travel, stay, everything, and it is a fantastic program.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mona.
Thank you, Purnima ma'am, for sharing the insight. So in the interest of time, let's wind up the session now. Nandi sir, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, and thanks to everybody who participated and present today at this point of time for this wonderful topic to learn and to share the knowledge. And just to conclude the session and few points from my side, as all of us have somewhere come to one common point that yes, it's just not a method. There is a lot of mindset into it, being more curious, being empathetic, and taking action through some small, thoughtful experiments. So empathy is going to be foundation of this, and prototyping is what beats the perfection. So as Sir has also mentioned, start, think fast. I am saying build to think, test to learn to grow. So yes, design thinking is for everyone. And be very open-minded, collaborate, and that's how the great solutions emerge. And yes, linear to non-linear, that's okay, right? The iterations lead to clarity and not the failure. So I conclude my moderation of today's session by saying a quote from Stanford Life Design Lab, Bill Burnett: "You can't engineer your way through life, but you can design it." So
Really a nice one.
with these few thoughts, I hand over the session back to Zakaria sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sheelan Misra. That was an amazing session. I thank Dr. Nandish for that, because it was not just explaining the concept, rather the examples that he put in. That was clearly convincing. That was the beauty of the session, I think. Apart from that, participants were also very, very encouraging, in the sense they provoked the discussions, and the session was quite inspiring, because many people took part in the discussion, and due to time constraint, Madam was winding it up. So it was an excellent show. I place on record my sincere thanks to Dr. Nandish, and also to Dr. Sheelan Misra for moderating it, and contributing. Rather than moderating, she was also forming part of the presentation and added value with her own thoughts. And I know this was just a mind-blowing session, because, Dr. Nandish and Dr. Sheelan was talking about the mindset. I'm sure this was mind-blowing because, the session could change the mindset or the perception of people about this particular concept. So I'm sure it was quite interesting. In between, our National President Adul Shah and National Treasurer Nagbanna Pani, both of them joined in between, and they just left. So I thank them for joining. I think Manohar sir, just a moment, he is calling me. Manohar sir, no issues. We are just concluding. Yeah. I will call you after that. Yeah, he is, just communicated that Manohar sir is not able to join. He is far away. So I thank our National President, National Treasurer for joining this evening meeting, and many senior members like Reddy sir, Anthony sir, chapter chairpersons like Srinivasa Rao, many ISTD veterans joined the meeting. And many ISTD members, student chapter members, well-wishers, And Oja sir and Purnima ma'am, they also contributed well to make the session very lively. I thank each and everyone and looking forward to have your participation in the 5th edition of the South webinar series in the month of June. Thank you all. Have a nice